Any
We
background on?
have our building commissioner, Chris Rogers, present
Hey guys.
to
There
speak
he is.
about
Hey,
Chris.
Good evening. How are you? Yes. So Chris Beckman, I think he's in the line via phone. He's camping somewhere, so couldn't get the full audio in there, or the video, I should say. Yeah, looking to appoint him, as Mike did about 6 years ago to me, as the local inspector, which puts him on a path to becoming an inspector and potentially a future commissioner. Worked with Chris many years ago, have stayed in touch with him ever since. Been contracting for, I think, basically his entire life. His dad was as well. So there it is. Any specific questions or?
So what would the role be that he's fulfilling? Just sort of backing you up when you're unavailable?
Yeah. Exactly. So two things that work here. One is, so Chris, I would bring Chris in again because part of my intent here is to kind of be part of the process of bringing good guys into the inspectional services system. And Chris is a good guy and very knowledgeable, very personable, which I think is a very important part of this as well. And at some point, assuming the appointment goes through smoothly, I'll bring him into town and introduce him, and people will get to know him. So basically, he'll become kind of a safety valve for me, take some of the hours away from me that I'm spending now in town. Again, my plan would be very similar to what Mike did, which is, give me kind of bring me in, increase hours until I either relinquish Bolton or there's another inspector involved. But yeah, he'd be a kind of a part-time, 4 hours a week is what we put in the budget for this particular year, and that's what I'd like to try and bring him up to, over the course of months.
Okay.
Chris, are you there by chance?
Good.
You want to introduce yourself? I can't tell if he's.
I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
We can hear
Yep,
you.
can.
Hi, why don't you
yes.
introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about your background?
Yeah, definitely. My name is Chris Beckman. I've been in construction my whole life. My father had his own construction company. He did custom homes, frame to finish. I started framing houses with him when I was 12 years old. I'm 45 now, so I've got 30 years in the business. I've had my own business on and off for years. I work right now with another company as a site super project manager. All I've ever done is construction, residential. It's basically all I know and all I care to do. And becoming an inspector is kind of the long-term goal for me. Basically, when my body gives out, I'll have a backup plan.
That's a good one, I might add. And also, just to make the comment too, so Chris has already also been approved by the state, which is just a process that you may not be familiar with, but you've got to get permission to take the testing. He's already been clear for that, is starting it because, again, assuming the appointment goes through tonight, it starts a clock for him, which I'll remind him of at least weekly, that he's got to get that first test kind of under his belt within 6 months. And then the idea he'll have 2 more tests, then he'll be a certified, recognized by the state local inspector. And in that capacity, he can do everything that a commissioner can do except issue occupancies and some permitting of stuff. So.
Okay, great. Well, Chris, thank you for being willing to come get to know Bolton. Do any of the board members have any questions?
Not for me. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, is there a motion to appoint Christopher Tyler Beckman as the Assistant Building Commissioner through June 30th, 2027?
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, roll call. Brian?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Welcome to Bolton.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a
I'm
great
very
night.
excited. You too. Thank you.
Great.
Bye-bye.
All right. Chris, I think you're up again with a
Yep.
recommendation to appoint Jeffrey Hayes as the backup building commissioner.
Yep.
through June 30th.
So Jeff is currently the commissioner in Harvard. Also, I don't know if you know or not, but also a Bolton native. And so I think what a very good system is that a lot of towns will have an alternate commissioner. And so Jeff being commissioner would be able to slide into my role exactly and identically with no restrictions on issuing occupancy permits and all those things that only commissioners can do versus local inspectors. So Jeff has been, I've known Jeff for a while. He was a lot of help and instrumental in me getting my commissionership. And so would be delighted to have him as an alternate for the town of Bolton. And Jeff is
Great.
here
Well,
with us.
Jeff,
and on the
welcome.
screen, so
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Chris.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for being here. We'd be happy to hear a little bit about your background and happy to have a Bolton native.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I pretty much grew up my entire life in Bolton, went through the whole school system, so it's my hometown. Much like Chris, I've been in construction my whole life and kind of took that path where I got into the instructional side of things. And I've been doing that now in Harvard for a little over 6 years now. And it's great. So I've been very encouraging of others to take that path. And it was great to see Chris get in there and become a commissioner. And it'll be great to see the new Chris get in as well. So.
All right. Well, thank you for being willing to serve as backup building commissioner. It's nice to know that kind of Bolton is well-rounded in terms of having the bases covered. Any questions from the board?
None for me.
Okay. Is there a motion to appoint Jeffrey Hayes as the backup building commissioner through June 30th, 2027?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Thank you
Thank you.
both for being here tonight.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you, board. Jeff, thank you for being willing to take up the mantle and Chris as well. So look forward to working with all you guys.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night.
Thanks. Have a good night. Okay, the next item on our agenda is to consider the appointment of Samantha Bosselet to the Audit Advisory Committee. Sam, hi.
Hi, Kate. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So just for the benefit of the public, this is a role that is created pursuant to the Neshoba Regional School Agreement. It provides for an audit advisory committee consisting of one member from each town, jointly appointed by the select board and the finance committee, or in our case, the advisory committee, as well as one member appointed by the school committee. The requirements are that each member must be independent of the financial reporting system of the district and should possess a reasonable level of financial literacy. And the job of the Audit Advisory Committee is to review the district's reporting process and audits both financial and compliance. So Sam, we did receive your application and statement of interest. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in filling this role?
Sure. So I'm Sam Bosselet. I'm pretty new to the town of Bolton, married into it, if you will. My husband has been a lifelong resident. And as I've kind of gotten more involved in the town, I'm on the Conservation Commission, and some of the bigger questions at hand of, some of the budgeting factors kind of played into my head as some of these conversations happened at town meeting fairly recently. I have a pretty decent understanding of municipal government, municipal infrastructure as a whole. My job is an inspector on a municipal level, so I am very comfortable dealing with budgets of that capacity, all of the finances that kind of go along with that. That's a huge component of my normal day-to-day job. I kind of wanted to raise my hand to say I would be interested in contributing in that factor. I would like to be able to give back to the community as, you know, someone who is able to understand, you know, basic financial literacy and be able to, you know, provide for our future kids that go through the school system. I currently don't have any kids, but I am 35 weeks pregnant, so I have a pretty vested interest in making sure that the school system, you know, maintains a good level of competency, but also is very cognizant of the fact that we have a very heavy tax burden on our folks here in town. And what does that look like moving forward? And how do we do right by the taxpayers? So that's kind of the general reasoning for my interest.
Great. Well, thank you for stepping up. I'm not sure if we've actually had this role filled before. I'm not sure. So I'm glad you're willing to step into it. Bill, Brian, do you have any questions for Sam?
No, none for me.
No, just thanks for stepping up, Sam, and best of luck in this final stretch.
The heat wave has been tough.
It's no joke. All right. Is there a motion from the select board to appoint Samantha Bossele to the Audit Advisory Committee through June 30, 2027?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. So I'm not sure if, Marie, if you've talked with advisory yet, because they will need to approve this appointment as well, I think.
It's on my list.
Okay. All right. So Sam, as far as the select board is concerned, you're all set.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for your time.
All right. Thank you. Take care. All right. Next up is consideration of the appointment of James Moran to serve as the volunteer land steward through June 30th of 2027. And I had asked Marie, I put her on the spot right before the meeting, if she could give us some background as to what the volunteer land steward is and does.
Sure. In effect, they are the eyes and ears and working on behalf of the commission. They would be monitoring properties, monitoring trails, reporting any illegal dumping. I know that there are many volunteers who also do trail maintenance affiliated with the STRIP program. This would be, in effect, a member working in tandem with those folks.
Okay, and I don't see that that James is here. But we do have as part of our package his statement of interest, outlining his pretty extensive career with both protecting natural resources, working on engineering, construction, and septic companies. A lot of different items that are definitely well related.
He was likewise recommended by the Conservation Commission during their June 16th meeting.
Okay, great. So any questions or comments from the board? Okay, then is there a motion to appoint James Moran to serve as the volunteer land steward through June 30th of 2027?
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. So thank you to him for volunteering and stepping up. And Marie, thank you for that quick and dirty summary. All right, moving on, the next items on our agenda are licenses. The first of which is a vote to issue the common victualler license to New City Micro Creamery, Bolton, located at 125 Still River Road. Jason Kleinerman here.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, Jason.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Hi, and Charlie
So
is
welcome.
hi, and also Charlie Rodriguez Hong is here. Okay, good. He's unmuted. and so we're both representing New City today. Nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you as well. And it's nice to welcome another business into Bolton always. You want to tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing?
Sure. We got to know Sarah and Sarah's husband over the last kind of 2 years through another Bolton resident named Mike Murphy, who owns Murphy Insurance here in town. And so off of that introduction, we kind of hit it off and started to supply. You have to excuse me, I'm with my children. I'm solo today. So I'm a little, I've got kind of next to me here. So I'm going to try not to be too distracted. My wife is in Las Vegas seeing the Backstreet Boys with her sister. So I am solo dadding right now. But so we met her. We started to kind of wholesale ice cream to her and also sell some pints at Bolton Orchards. And we just got along with her really, really well. And the relationship kind of grew throughout the year. And she had discussed with us at some point kind of just taking over the ice cream stand so that they could kind of focus on more of the grocer side. And they actually do a lot more than just groceries there. They do coffee, they do donuts now, they have, different food options.
Yeah, I think most of us are pretty familiar with Bolton Orchards.
Yeah, it's an awesome place. And so, this year we kind of took that conversation back up and we decided to give it a try. And, that was kind of how it came to be. And yeah, it's a great location. It's, a great community to be a part of. I think some people in Bolton might know us from Hudson, our ice cream brand. So we have a little bit of already kind of built-in name brand recognition there. And that's more or less it. Just have a nice little kind of outdoor seating, more farm stand style service that we can't really give in Hudson, which is more of like a traditional scoop shop setup. And just bring a similar kind of line of product of ice cream. We actually do some soft serve there as well, which we don't do in the other locations. So yeah, that's kind of it. It's just, really simple ice cream stand, homemade, made in Massachusetts and Shirley, Mass. We still make everything by hand, all natural, and that's it. I know you're not here for
Great.
the elevator pitch, so.
Well, no, thank you. Everybody wants to hear about the business. Do you want to tell us just very quickly, is this year round? Is this going to be seasonal? What sort of hours?
I think it's, I think it's going to be seasonal. But we'll see. We'll kind of play it by ear how late we go into the season. Obviously with the apples, I think she's going to have a really strong fall and we want to be there for that. And see how it goes into the holidays. Obviously the exterior will, as it gets colder, becomes less and less viable. And then probably shut it down over, when we get to the dead of winter and then bring it back in the spring.
Okay, well, I mean, that sounds great. I'm pretty familiar with you guys in Hudson. My daughters certainly are. So, I know that there's a lot of excitement about having you guys right here in Bolton. Any questions from the board?
Nope. We've already been and enjoyed
it. All right. And then is there a motion to issue a common victualler license to New City Micro Creamery Bolton for the location at 125 Still River Road?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call. Brian?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Welcome to Bolton, and we wish you great success.
Thank you. We hope we're there for a long time and in partnership with Bolton Orchards.
Okay. Well, thank you both for being here tonight.
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
Okay. The next item is, I think, pretty quick. It's just a vote to issue the amended liquor license to Bolton Bean based on the change of hours that we approved at our last meeting. Is there a motion to issue the amended liquor license?
Yes. So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Were either of the Pattersons here and wanted to talk? Did I miss that? We're all fine. Okay. All right. Next up is a vote to issue 16 one-day liquor licenses to Shartner Fruit Farms LLC at 201 West Berlin Road with Robert Shartner. Hi, Bob.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing very well, thank you.
Great. You want to tell us what we're looking at here?
Yeah, well, this would be basically a repeat of what we've done the last 3 years, I think it's been. So we're looking to be able to sell beer and wine at the farm for the pick your own season in September and October. Weekends only. The only exception would be Monday, Columbus Day.
All right, great. And I think we're still waiting for a certificate of insurance.
Yes, I'm working on that with the insurance company now. They're adding the liquor liability as we speak, so I should have that within a week or two.
Okay, great. Well, look forward to it every year. Any questions from the board?
For me,
No.
Okay. Then is there a motion to issue 16 one-day liquor licenses to Shartner Fruit Farm LLC located at 279 West Berlin Road, contingent upon the receipt of a certificate of insurance, including liquor liability for the dates requested from September 12th through October 31st, 2026.
so moved.
Second that.
Roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Bob, thank you, and we look forward to a successful harvest season this year.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Last up on the licenses is a vote to issue an annual entertainment license to Davis Farms, DBA Bolton Orchards at 125 Still River Road. Is anyone here on that item?
Us as New City are looking to piggyback on that as well, with that entertainment because of the space that we're going to be in.
Okay. Okay, so are you here to represent Bolton Orchards on that application?
Yes.
Okay. All right, then so this looks like it's a request for an annual entertainment license covering both weekdays as well as Sundays for live music between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Can you tell us a little bit about the events that you've got planned?
Yes. One of the events that's coming up is National Ice Cream Day, which is coming up soon this weekend, having just entertainer live music out in the patio lawn area. And then just a couple of plan of having another kind of sort of party, but then just live music out in the space.
Okay. And whether this is intended to be amplified music or is it just sort of acoustic or a mix?
Yeah, I'll come in here. We're not talking like Woodstock or anything. This is just very like light fare, usually a guitarist or maybe like a guitarist and a singer. Nothing that will be it won't be like a concert venue. This is just kind of an extra on some days that whether it be an event or like a busy Saturday that we just want to say, hey, we're going to have a live singer for a few hours if you want to come by with the family, that type of stuff. So no ticketed, no selling of tickets or anything like that. More just to accompany ice cream and a little, maybe like some face painting, things like that.
Okay, great. So we have heard from the police chief that there were no violations or complaints in the past year. So I think the application is complete. The board has two options at this point, one of which is to issue the license as requested, and the other of which would be to call for a hearing to approve the application. Unless the board feels differently, I would be inclined to issue the license tonight. We've done this for some other venues without requiring a hearing. So Brian, Bill, do either of you feel differently and feel that it should be a hearing, or are you comfortable on approving the license here tonight?
I'm comfortable.
I'm comfortable as well. I do have one question, if I may. Are the hours you're proposing 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. or is that 9 p.m.? I can't.
I think 4 p.m. sounds a little early. I would appreciate if we could approve 9 p.m., but I don't know if that would be more red tape that we would have to go through.
It looked like 4 p.m. on my copy, but
Yeah, it looks like 4 p.m. to me as well.
I mean, frankly, I don't think I would have a problem approving it until 9 p.m. if that was what you wanted. Especially since it sounds like it is pretty low key and not amplified music, and so I guess you need to let us know.
We're also kind of facing a busy road there, so there's really not much ability for sound to travel. Just the location of the exterior area where we intend to do it.
Okay, well, did you want
If
to
you guys would be
request
okay with that, yeah, I guess I'll officially request if you can extend it to 9 p.m. We would appreciate it.
Okay. All right, then is there a motion to issue the annual entertainment license Sunday through Saturday to Davis Farms, DBA Bolton Orchards, located at 125 Still River Road for calendar year 2026, contingent upon receipt of a certificate of insurance and annual license fee, and for the hours from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very much. You have been very efficient. We appreciate it.
Well, we welcome you to Bolton, and now we don't have to travel as far as Hudson, so it's great.
Thank you.
All right, good luck. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
There better be some Backstreet Boys playing at
I didn't know people still go to the Backstreet Boys till she told me. So we can accommodate that as well. Thank you.
Those are fighting words right there. Okay, so we're just running a couple of minutes late, but our next item is a public hearing on a liquor license amendment. Is there a motion to open the public hearing on the petition of International Beverage Company LLC at 159 Ballville Road to amend their hours of operation to include 10 a.m. to noon?
So moved.
Okay, roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. So we did have an email from Mr. Michael Galvin, the general manager, earlier this evening, indicating that he was unlikely to be able to attend due to a conflict. I do not see that he is here, but I personally would be comfortable moving forward. on the application. This is the same as we've done for several other businesses in Bolton that are just looking to amend hours to expand liquor sales from 10 a.m. to noon based on our recent article. So Bill,
Kate, you're breaking up.
oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I was just asking if you're both comfortable moving forward on the application without Mr. Galvin being present because he had a conflict tonight.
Yes.
I,
I am.
Okay, so the application is complete. And this is an amendment for Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon. So is there a motion to approve the application for amendment to hours of operation for International Beverage Service Company LLC to include Sundays, 10 a.m. to noon per Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 33B?
so moved.
Second that.
All right, roll call. Yeah. Oh, we need to close the public hearing. Right. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
And I'll,
Okay, a roll call.
yes,
Let me finish this and just say what I said. Roll call, Brian,
yes.
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also. Brian, did you want to make a motion?
Sure,
Restate what I just said.
sure. And there, just so you know, there is a little bit of a lag, Kate, so that's probably why it seems like we're talking over each other. I make a motion to approve the application for amendment to the hours of operation for the International Beverage Service Company to include Sundays from 10 a.m. to noon per Mass General Law 138, Chapter 138, Section 33B.
Second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. All right. Well, we've pretty much caught up. Next up is public comment. Is anyone here for public comment? Go ahead and raise your hand. I am not seeing any. So we will move on to the town administrator report ahead of schedule.
This looks terrifically long, so I will just give you the high points. Most surprisingly and distressingly, but not for lack of effort, our temporary disinfection installation still in process, and the DPW director has been investigating the requirements for us to get additional state funding. This seems like a step that would occur after we do the preliminary engineering the town meeting funded. The news is that Senator Warren will be advancing our request for funding for the 117 Main Street culvert to the Senate Appropriations Committee, which is good news. And for the board's own schedules, Congresswoman Trahan is planning a visit on August 13th. I don't have additional details in terms of timing, but to also show what FEMA dollars can do in local communities. The conservation agent has been working on pulling together the bid specs so that the monies appropriated at town meeting for the Bowers Brook repair can get underway and be put out to bid. I feel on our special act alcohol, I keep giving the same update. It's almost there. We're waiting for it to be sent to the governor. The latest update as of this week was that it's gone through the House and Senate, and we're still in a holding pattern. There is no update, though, to relay in terms of DCAM land. So folks know, if there has been no action by the governor by the end of July, we're kind of back to square one again. On the town hall side, we're super pleased to announce that Matthew Gargano has been hired as the town accountant. He'll be starting on Monday, and I look forward to introducing him to the board in August. Our audit has started remotely earlier this week, and we'll be getting together the materials that we need for our OPEB valuation. I've included for the board the policy that the library trustees had voted for their open hours policy, as the hours and the parameters are within their control. The compressor for the lack of AC has been ordered. We're still waiting on an installation and materials arrival date. The library, just to refresh, has been through an awful lot this year. Like the public safety building, they've been under a boil water order. You remember in the fall, we had to order a board so that their boiler would work. So that had been sort of iffy. Earlier in the year, their boiler had caught fire. They were without heat, then they had temporary heat. And for almost a month and a half, they've been without air conditioning. So be kind to your library staff. Police Reserve Officer Timothy Stewart has submitted his resignation, and the chief and lieutenant are continuing their background investigation for other applicants. The summer, wow, it's sort of Danish. The summer concert series will be starting tomorrow night. I've included the flyer, happening on the Common, 6 to 8 p.m. And camp, from all that I have heard, is running smoothly. Planning had let me know that there has been no follow-up to the former offer letter for the Vadis land, where they had conditions, and at the direction of the planning director, we'd flagged that they could not impose the conditions on their offer. The other positive thing is that she's taken it upon herself as a goal to define a policy and a procedure for all of us to follow when there is a 61A property that is being released. I'd also shared with the board that Governor Healy had signed some zoning reform changes that were unexpected. This significantly loosens local control of zoning. The largest impact would be on the ZBA. Per your request, keeping you abreast that there will be a public hearing August 18th from CONCOM, Conservation Commission, regarding dogs on conservation land. And I've shared the existing regulations, but please mark your calendars and be prepared to attend. They'd also voted for the property at 711, 713 Main to remove their condition prohibiting parking and vehicular traffic from that courtyard area, so it aligns with the DEP's approach. The Council on Aging is almost complete in their process of hiring an additional MART van driver. The prospective MART driver just needs to attend courses at MART that MART pays for, and Neshoba Nursing is back on schedule. In the event that you'd receive some complaints, there had been multiple notifications regarding dogs from the town clerk's office. In effect, there have been 7 notifications regarding dogs that residents who own dogs have received. Subsequently, the animal control officer had started placing notices on non-compliant residence doors and levying the $100 fine, rather. The clerks have been terrifically busy. As you're aware, we have 2 elections happening this fall. They have been working their way through the voter confirmation cards, which were sent out to residents who didn't complete a census. And then simultaneously, the Commonwealth has mailed out its vote by mail applications, which are sent to every registered voter. The clerk's office asks that you send back both, or, send back at least one. Ideally, they would like to keep their census data up to date. And they're already planning for the in-person voting for the September 1st primary. That will be occurring later, well, mid-August. Community Choice Aggregation, as per their contract, gave us an update. They continue to provide benefits for the town. And they've also acknowledged that they can absorb our town municipal contracts when our existing contract with Constellation Energy terms at the end of December. As you're aware, it's a very volatile time for energy and energy purchasing. And so being able to join the town's aggregation program for residents and commercial businesses is a great relief. They've also sent out, though, another mailing, again, as part of their contract, to let non-participants know, as well as new residents, about the community choice aggregation programs. For committee related, I realize this is committees that I've attended. Obviously, there are multiple busy committees happening. The Town Building Task Force will be having their next meeting at 7 on 7:30. They've started apportioning subgroup activities, and there will be a survey that will be going to town hall employees. Advisory has completed their role in fiscal 26, and I thank them for all of their diligence and effort. And they're planning some startup meetings later in September, October, pending members' availability. And the Transfer Station Committee will be having its next meeting August 10th. The DPW director and administrative assistant came and generously shared their time at this week's meeting. The committee itself will be starting their communications for info on what to recycle, as well as planning on the sticker rollout as per the board's start date of January 1st, requiring stickers. Mark your calendars, Concerts on the Common Friday. On the 23rd, there is a registration for Cops and Bobbers, and that will be happening again at Bowerbrook. And then for Council on Aging, they're having their luncheon, their annual luncheon on August 19th at Slater's. Fiscal 26 has officially ended, but the work is never done. So we have required filings for the state with some deadlines at the end of August as well as mid-September. We're hoping by bringing on our new town accountant and sort of ramping up the town accountant's responsibilities, ramping down the contracted accountant's responsibilities, that everything will be filed in a timely and accurate manner. It is too early to predict a range for a certified free cash. I wanted to come up with something, and I, can't at this time. The final cherry sheets, though, have been released, and our total net revenue is about $37,000 greater than our projection. And just to keep in mind, as we go into fiscal 27, that portion of the compensation reserve that was more or less untouched in fiscal 26 will probably be needed for fiscal 27. Because if you recall, when the budgets were due last October, contract was not settled. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Marie. Any questions from the board? All right. So we will move on to select board business. First up is a couple of public service announcements. The first of which people may have seen on Facebook or elsewhere, or may have personal knowledge. But congrats to the 12U boys baseball team on their third Western Massachusetts State Championship. I understand that their year is still ongoing, and they've got 3 games, I think, over this coming weekend. If you're up in Dover, New Hampshire, you can go up and see them at the Cal Ripken Regional Tournament this weekend. So congratulations to them. And the other thing that I would note is that Saturday and Sunday, Bolton Spring Farm has their annual artisan fair. So people should go. Other announcements from the board?
None for me.
Okay, any future agenda items? All right.
I actually have a suggestion for the board, as I know you'll be discussing your goals later in the meeting. But also am here to advocate for perhaps an unofficial but officially posted board meeting, where the board members can sit down together and sort of bounce back and forth their ideas for goals.
Sort of an off-cycle in person.
Off-cycle in person, obviously publicly posted, but everyone together.
I like that idea.
I like that idea too.
Okay. Yeah, we can work on a date. Does anybody have vacation plans within the next few weeks?
I can just share that my a combination of work and personal travel, we'd be looking to early August.
Okay. All right. Well, we can coordinate a date for that offline, but maybe we can look towards the first week in August. Maybe. Okay. All right. So for select board reports, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm having trouble actually finding the raised hand feature right now. But I just wanted to go back to public service announcements because I did tell our town planner, Pam Harding, that I would reiterate the message that went out to the public about the affordable home ownership opportunity in Bolton at 28 Pondside Drive. We are looking for a qualified purchaser for the affordable sale price of $208,055. And the income limits are listed under the newsflash on our homepage. Anyone with any questions can reach Carol Marine at Region at My Mass Home at 671-690-8603 or cmarine@chapa.org. That's CMARINE at CHAPA.org.
Thanks, Jenny. All right, moving back to select board reports. Bill, did you want to do a presentation on Keep the Lights On initiative?
Yes, I am going to share my screen here. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll make this relatively brief. We were presented back in the fall. I first sat down with some people from Next Gen Energy, and I believe we were first contacted by the select board in Harvard, which is one of the towns that is looking at this opportunity as well. And Kate and myself also went to a demonstration and a presentation on this opportunity back about a month or so ago. So, Kate, if I'm missing anything or I have something wrong in here, please feel free to jump in. So, what this is, it's a public-private partnership, and it allows NextGen Energy through a financial structure to come in and build what is known as a hero hub, which is a microgrid solar array with battery storage system. And they're looking for 5 towns to participate. The solar array with the battery storage system would produce approximately 10 megawatts of electricity, and it would be placed on town land, and we would be able to use the electricity to power the town buildings with preference to critical infrastructure, like a public safety building or the library, and also provide battery backup during national grid power outages, and also take advantage of some peak and off-peak power usage. The infrastructure requires approximately 30 acres for the solar array and batteries, but it does not have to be contiguous, and it can include a rooftop, parking canopy installations, and field arrays. Where we went to Schneider Electric for the demo, they had the whole parking lot filled up with rooftop or parking canopy installations, and there were you wouldn't even know what they were until they pointed them out. It was really pretty cool. Um, the hero sites between the five towns that they're looking to get involved would be networked together to perform as what they call a virtual power plant, which enhances energy resiliency and brings additional supply to the grid. So I took this from their presentation. This picture on the right is, I don't know if that's a complete installation, but this is what we saw up at the Schneider Electric building. You have the solar arrays, and then you have what looks like shipping containers, which are the battery units. And the shipping containers are self-contained and have fire suppressant systems in them and all the controls that are available to run the system. You can put this in a lot of different areas. Harvard, I believe, is looking to have it in a couple different areas, such as the DPW building roof, the school roof, and also possibly some field arrays as well. So the deal structure is complicated, as these are. Uh, what it is, it's the public-private partnership between NextGen Energy, private investors, and participating towns. So it's an investment partnership. NextGen Energy would be the general partner, and the investor or investors would be limited partnership, a limited partner, and the town would also be a limited partner. The towns would be carved out in what's known as a special purpose vehicle, which silos each town for cash flow, and if something goes wrong with another town, the town of Bolton would be a special purpose vehicle within the general partnership. The town co-owns assets that has this 20-year expected lifespan, while the Hero Hub is maintained and managed by the general partner. And the deal is comprised of 60% project debt, 32% tax equity and federal tax credits, and that is what the investor, which could potentially be a large investment bank, a green investment bank, or some other investor. That's what they're in the deal for. And the town puts up what is approximately 8% sponsor equity, which is met by the long-term land lease agreements for the site. This is what it looks like in just a graphic format. So you can see that it's the NextGen Energy is the GP, and you have debt investors, and you also have the tax or the equity investor involved as well. Each one of these Hero Hubs costs approximately $30 million to install. So, in order to have a large investor be interested in a deal like this, they wanted to bring multiple towns in so that it would be a more attractive deal for a larger investor. So the financial incentive for the town is in year 1 through 5. The town is essentially a customer of the Hero Hub, the electricity being generated, and purchases electricity at below market rates. Town demand is approximately 1.5 megawatts of the 10 megawatt system. We may actually be a little bit lower than 1.5 megawatts, but we're certainly not up to 10 megawatts. The remaining capacity is sold back to the marketplace, and that cash flow returns to the investor, along with tax credits and depreciation, and that's in years 1 through 5. In year 5, you start seeing ownership shift, where the private investor is either completely removed from the equation, or their participation is taken down to a very minimal level. And this is done, and I'm going to clarify this in my due diligence. This is done by, they have an internal rate of return trigger, which would push them out at year 5. Starting in year 6, town revenue phase, 6 through 20, which is the lifespan, the investor is minimal or fully exited, and the town owns the asset, and the cash flow from excess capacity can go to the town. So the financial obligations of the town, they're currently working on a grant, and they have yet to hear if they've received the grant. But the first step in the process, or the second step in the process after signing the memorandum of understanding, would be a site assessment. That cost, if they don't receive the grant, would be $37,500 to the town. And then Next Gen would be paying the other half of that cost. If they receive the grant, which they hope to do, there would be no cost to the town for the site assessment. And that site assessment is going to give us a really good clarity on where structure like this could be placed, what makes the most sense, and also a lot of the economic modeling, especially for years 6 through 20. So that really is the only financial obligation to the town, and it does hinge on that grant, which they expect to hear on that at any time. They thought they would hear before now, but any day I expect them to hear on that grant and whether they got it or not. But they don't expect any construction costs for the actual Hero Hub. So this is a complicated deal, but it's certainly something that is worth continuing to conduct due diligence. The economic modeling would be done after the site assessment and feasibility study, but is expected to generate approximately $1.25 million in cash flow in years 6 through 20 by reselling the excess capacity. Obviously, that's a big number. That's $67 million in assessed property value given our current property tax rate. From day one, the town would be purchasing electricity at reduced market rates. It does provide energy resilience using the solar plus the battery storage with critical infrastructure. It can be an important piece of a disaster recovery plan. And this is, I put question marks here because there's still a lot of uncertainty about this. But there is the potential for residents to be able to purchase electricity generated by the Hero Hub at reduced rates in the future during this 20-year time frame. The investor doesn't care who is purchasing the electricity, so there's a potential for individual residents and homes to be able to take advantage of these lower rates. That is complicated and does require national grid connection. Climate goals and improved energy supply. This would go a long way. Our master plan spells out some climate goals. This would go a long way in addressing some of those as well. So the next step, as I see it, is continuing to conduct due diligence. And I've reached out to multiple people in town who have some experience in these type of deals, general partner, limited partner, investment partnership deals, just to talk to them about it and get another set of eyes. Um, we could do a informal, it wouldn't be a site assessment, but informal inventory of town-owned land and where it could be possible to put one of these hubs or this infrastructure. Um, like I said, we're waiting on the grant application award. They've had discussions with Kate Hogan's office, and according to them, they're very excited about it, and so we should reach out to Kate Hogan's office to see what potential there is there. Um, if they don't receive the grant, we would have to have a vote, a special town meeting for the feasibility and scoping assessment. And then once that is done, um, we aren't committed to going forward. Um, then we would have another vote, if we wanted to move forward at town meeting. And that would, that timeline they're looking for to have the first 5 towns involved is, the site assessment agreed to in the September timeframe, and then our next annual town meeting, if we go forward for the vote to take place at that time. And then the Hero Hub would be installed, they believe, at some point in late 2027. So that's all I have. Kate, did I miss anything or anything you want to add?
No, thank you for that presentation, Bill. I thought it was great. Just a couple of things that I remember from when we did that tour last month. One of my concerns was what strain this might put on existing town employees. And essentially, it's all run remotely. It would not require anything of our DPW staff. In fact, the preference is that nobody touch anything because it's all dialed into remotely. The other thing was I had questions about ongoing maintenance or any kind of problems. And that would continue to be at no cost to the town because that would be, if I understood correctly, managed and maintained by Next Gen.
Yeah.
So, and then the town would own it outright, but would not really be responsible for the maintenance of it during that 20-year period. So I agree with Bill. I think it's a complicated thing. I think, however, it's worth continuing to investigate because it does help us meet our climate goals. It provides some much needed revenue, which is one of those are 2 big buckets in the master plan, and I think this helps us march towards those. So I'm interested in just continuing to go through the process and see where it leads.
Okay, go ahead,
oh,
Brian.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say thank you for digging in. I really appreciate it. I have one request, and Marie or Jenny might be able to chime in on the best way to do that. But I know through our town emails we can get access to folders within the town's document. I'd love for Bill you to save this and actually any information related to this project if we can just keep it in a folder and then I can make sure I can do my homework too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get that set up. They've sent me quite a bit. And, Next Gen is, they're very familiar. They seem to be very familiar with the political process. So if we did do the site assessment and the feasibility study and we are moving forward, they seem very willing to help with the presentation to residents and walking through the complexities of this deal because it is a complex deal, but it's something that I think we can get our hands around with some due diligence.
Thank you, Bill. I know you've done a lot of work on this. This is complicated stuff, so
May I ask
thank
a
you.
question? Just maybe. When do they need our commitment of 37.5 in the event they don't get the grant? Because it's a really busy election fall.
So they're talking about September or October. I think that they went into it. I got the impression they went into it thinking they were going to get the grant, and that wouldn't be the special town meeting would not be required in that case. But I will ask them, Marie, if they've
Yeah.
considered that busy election and
Yeah.
time frame to see if they could push that a little bit. My experience with these type of deals is they typically always get pushed a little bit at least. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one did as well.
Thanks.
But what they were,
Any,
the last thing, sorry, Kate, what they were,
no
the
problem.
site assessment takes 8 to 12 weeks. So they were hoping to have that done before the first of the year so they could help towns prepare for town meeting.
Okay, anything else for Bill on the Keep Lights On initiative? Okay. Next up on the agenda is a vote to approve longevity pay for 7 employees who have been with the town of Bolton for more than 20 years. This is a $100 payment for longevity. And the 7 employees, starting with the most years of service, Kelly Collins, our library director, has been in Bolton for 29 years. Lorraine Kenny with the police department has been with us for 29 years. Nate Barry from DPW, 26 years. Kim Barry from the police department, 26 years. Scott Dwinells from DPW, 24 years. Jason Puri from the police department, 21 years. And Don Baum with DPW, 20 years. So thank you to all of these employees for their extraordinary service to the town of Bolton for in excess of 20 years. And anything from the board on this? Any questions or comments?
Nope. Happy to be able to recognize these employees.
Yeah, thanks for years of service.
All right, then is there a motion to approve the $100 longevity pay for the 7 employees with 20 years or more of service?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Okay. Next up is an agenda item to discuss inviting the Economic Development Committee to attend a future select board meeting. Brian, I think this was put on at your request, and yeah. So did you want to speak to this?
Yeah, and hold on, I'm just trying to pull up a draft email. So yeah, can you hear me okay? I'm just so nervous about this connection. Billy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. So I think that we had talked about at one of our last meetings trying to invite somebody from the EDC to attend a future meeting. And I was just thinking that if you agree, I think it would be helpful for all of the members of the EDC to receive the invitation to attend a future select board meeting. And I had some language, like proposed language that we could include in that email. I just think it would be worthwhile making sure that everybody on the EDC gets that invitation instead of trying to schedule it around the availability of one person.
That's a
Um,
good idea.
Do you want me to like read the draft language that I was going to propose?
Sure. Yep.
So it would say something along the lines of the select board invites you to attend our next meeting on such and such a date. We would like to engage in a conversation with EDC members regarding what your near-term priorities should be. To prepare for the discussion, all involved should review the master plan's economic development related recommendations and come with specific suggestions for possible near-term priorities.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Yeah, I'd like to hear from everybody on the EDC, and just make sure that everybody's engaged.
Great.
So I think it makes sense to invite them to our August meeting. Marie, unless we've got a jam-packed schedule, but I don't know that we do. I think that makes sense.
Okay, so I'll leave it in your good hands.
All righty. If you could forward that language to Jenny, that would be great, Brian. Thanks. Okay. Next up is consider revisions to the attendance at meetings of commissions and boards policy. This is a continued discussion from our meeting last time. I think there was some concerns about the initial draft that I had circulated. Jenny, are you able to pull up the revised draft that I sent you earlier? Or Marie? So I took a stab at making some changes to address the concerns that we talked about last time, but I'm more than happy to take other comments, thoughts, ideas.
Sorry, that took a sec. Here
No
it
worries.
comes.
Thanks, Jenny. Can you make that a little bit bigger, Jenny?
Sure.
Perfect. So Brian, I know you had some concern about the 3 meetings or the 3 consecutive meetings. So I looked at some other towns and sort of put in some modifying language to say that if a member is absent from 3 consecutive meetings or 25% or more of their scheduled meetings within a fiscal year, then the select board may, instead of shall, consider the position vacant, and also added a sentence to provide some degree of leniency. If there's a particular circumstance that the board wanted to exempt out somebody's absence. So.
I think these edits well address my concerns.
Okay. Anything you want to add, or Bill?
If this was triggered, would it require a vote by the select board?
Yeah, I
Since
think
it's
it
at
would
May. Yeah. Okay.
require us to, yeah. So it would become an agenda item and we would vote on it.
Okay.
I suppose it doesn't, my question, which probably doesn't need to be addressed in the policy itself, but is more of an implementation question, is like, who is responsible for tracking
Yeah.
attendance?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little bit tricky just because there are various boards, and it is sometimes hard to keep track of them. So I think it's probably a joint responsibility between the town administrator and you know, the select board chair and individual members of the select board if they're aware of particular issues.
I was actually wondering, I mean, it doesn't seem unreasonable from my perspective to have it be an expectation of the relevant chairs of commissions and committees to be tracking this stuff as a first pass. I mean, that doesn't feel to me like an unreasonable to ask to make of somebody who's serving as chair.
That seems reasonable to me as well. And so we could, you know, once we approve this policy, we could send it with an email to the chairs of the various committees. Just so that they're aware and let them know that the expectation is that they'll be monitoring attendance of their committee members.
Yep.
Okay,
So that monitoring would have to be for both meetings that meet quorum and meetings that don't, correct?
that's yeah, I think that's reasonable as well.
Yeah,
You know, 'cause
because
I
that's
think
where you're gonna, if people are missing meetings, then they won't make quorum, and that's where you're gonna have the issue.
well, it also does have in here of the scheduled meetings of the commission. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
think that kind of has the expectation that, you know, they're scheduled whether quorum is met or not.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to be nitpicky there, but
No, I think it's a valid point. All right, any other concerns about this revision? Is there a motion to approve the revised policy for attendance at meetings of commissions and committees created and appointed by the select board?
So moved.
second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. So, thanks, Jenny, for getting that up. Do you want me to send you a clean version tomorrow?
No, I
Okay.
could take care of it.
Okay, perfect. Next up is a review and potential approval of the compensatory time policy for the town of Bolton. Marie, do you want to take us through where
I
we
can
are on
share
this?
because I think what's in the packet is just our existing compensatory time policy. Um, the main thing is just to make our policy defined consistent across all departments for the non-union employees, and align with our bylaws. So presently, if an individual is scheduled for 23 hours a week and they end up working 24 hours, that additional hour is treated as time and 1/2, which is tricky. Our bylaws are pretty clear in terms of we're in accord with FLSA. What I would recommend, I've shopped this around to the department heads, incorporated feedback, received super feedback from Jenny, is the policy in front of the board this evening. You know, if you are working an additional hour, you could choose to have it paid out. As long as you're under the 40-hour cap, you could choose to acquire 1 hour of comp time, sort of a 1-for-1. You can carry a balance of up to 40 hours. Because this is your time worked, it never goes away technically, but we would pay it out and not let you carry it forward, like ideally from June to July when wages and rates increase. It's just to be clear that for the non Fair Labor Standards Act exempt employees, that this is how comp time is treated, regardless of your work site location, town hall, COA, library. The library has been following this, the policy in front of you all along. Likewise, to clarify that folks who are FLSA exempt, the hope is that, you know, they're responsible and they figure out a way to balance their time. I know with election season, there will be a lot of strain on the town clerk's office. And we discussed, you know, that she would have the availability. Let me know, you know, if you were obligated to be here all day Saturday because of state requirements for voter registration, you know, then plot out your time and say, oh, I'm going to be in late on these days, or I'm going to take administrative time. So that's the quick overview.
Okay, thank you. I guess my thought on it is I'd like a little time to, because I did only see the existing
Right.
policy in, so
It'll-
I definitely like the chance to look over the revisions and just understand it. I don't think I have an issue with it, but I just like the opportunity to look it over before we vote on it. Does that make sense to the rest of the board?
Yes.
Any questions for Marie or concerns about the policy in general? Okay, all right, so let's put that on for our next meeting in August, and we should be able to get that approved, I would think. All right, next up is to review the Neshoba Regional School District facilities lease. I don't
At
know.
this At this time, Bill and I have met and discussed some of the proposed changes, and I'm working on setting up a time with Kirk and Ross for us to sit down. I'd also noted that Stowe has likewise flagged that the lease as it currently exists is outdated for them too. So no news on that one.
Okay. All right, so next up is setting priorities for select board for fiscal, it should be fiscal 27. So I had put together some initial thoughts for goals. Bill and Brian, I'm imagining you guys have some thoughts as well. Tonight is to kind of get all our thoughts together and get a general agreement on basically what the form of goals will be, with the aim of finalizing a written document at our next meeting. But I think we can probably, you know, discuss what each of us would like to see incorporated as goals over the next year. I had submitted something to Jenny earlier. I don't know if Brian or Bill, if either of you submitted anything to her for consideration for tonight as well.
I did.
Brian's nodding.
I did not.
Okay. Jenny, do you have them as individual documents or did you mesh them together, or what's the easiest way to take a look?
I have them as individual documents.
Okay. Well, do you want to pull mine up first and we'll see what's on it and see what everybody thinks, and then we'll look at Brian's, we see how much overlap we have.
Can I just
Sure.
ask one process question to make sure I'm following? So, so we're going to discuss tonight, but then if we do end up having this like in-person off-cycle meeting, do
Oh,
you think
right.
do you think we could actually like have the ability to edit the document together there as well and
Yeah.
finalize it? Perfect.
I had forgotten about that. That's a great idea. And I was hoping that one illustrious select board member who was familiar with SMART goals would be interested in putting this into SMART goal format like he did last.
I'd be happy to.
Woohoo!
So do you want me to hold off on sharing?
No, I just wanted to make sure that I was understanding that we're gonna have, like, we'll be collaborating with, we'll all share the pen at a future meeting in August.
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah, so Jenny, if you want to pull mine up. So this is definitely not final format. It was a little bit stream of consciousness. But you know, we've got the town hall potent building issue targeted already, I think, as having to have ready for annual town meeting in May. We've got the town building task force that's doing its work. I think we're going to have a fair amount of work coming towards the end of the year and the beginning of next year on it. As we did last year, I'd like to have, and you know, I think it probably makes sense maybe every year to have the master plan on there, just to make sure that we're keeping up with what we need to do, both in terms of our own tasks and oversight for implementation as a whole. I would like to continue working aggressively on increasing transparency and public communication. And the final item for me would be budget finance. I've made great strides over the last couple of years, and I'd like to continue the good work that I think we're doing in terms of financial forecasts, engaging the public, and you know, continuing to work to engage with the school committee reps and the administration over our financial constraints, which are going to continue. And also to continue our discussions with other select boards and finance committees of our member towns to understand, you know, how the finances are impacting them as well. Any questions, concerns, thoughts on these ideas?
I think these are great ideas for us to discuss. There are elements of this that overlap with some of the ideas that I had. I guess my only request, Kate, is that in the interest of me trying to start to think about how to formulate these as goals, could you send me this Word document after tonight?
Yeah, I think Jenny can send it to you. She's got it. But I could send it as well. Bill, any thoughts or concerns on these?
No, I like these goals. And I'll add a couple and I'll make sure it gets to Jenny, and Jenny, you can send it to Brian as well. But no, this is a really good start.
Okay. Should we see what's on Brian's?
Sure. Let me see if I can.
I have it here if you'd like.
All right. Can you see this?
Oh, or
Great. Does that work, Jenny?
yep.
Okay.
That's great.
This is just for discussion, people. Okay, just for discussion. But the first one I wanted to throw out there was actually around whether we should consider taking a leadership role in thinking through AI adoption for municipal government. I guess I'm just kind of reading the tea leaves and feeling like we would be shooting ourselves in the foot not to explore this and potentially leverage it when I think it's going to be happening in lots of other places. And when you're in an under-resourced municipality, there might be actually a lot to gain. So we can talk about whether people even want to consider this as a goal, but I've laid out some possible ways that we could measure this. I'm just going to go through this pretty quickly. The next one was around, it's related to some things in the master plan, but specifically around elderly services planning. It kind of marries some of the like space needs work that's already happening with some of the more substantive needs that the elderly population specifically might need. So I just think given the percentage of our population and the amount that they're contributing to our tax base, it behooves us to give some dedicated thought to that portion of the population. The next goal that I was going to throw out there is around supporting and focusing economic development by helping to clarify and strengthen the EDC's mandate and priorities. And this kind of aligns with the agenda item earlier of bringing them in to talk through those. And then the last one, and this also relates, Kate, to one of the points in yours, is strengthening the select board relationship with NRSD. Obviously there were some, just quite frankly, misfires in the relationship last year. And I think it would be good for us to try to improve that. So I've thrown out basically some process points that we could potentially commit to. So again, I can circulate this for people to digest more fully, but I'd love any initial reactions to whether even at a high level these are crazy or off base.
Well,
I
I like
think
that there are some that are completely new and different. I really like the idea of focusing on the elder population. I think that's almost at a crisis level for us in terms of providing some resources. So I think that's great. I'm interested in hearing more about the AI thing because I'm not sure I fully understood where you're going, but I'm certainly happy to listen to it.
Yeah, I think the AI is a really good idea because it obviously is not going away. And it can be an incredible resource, but you have to be careful with it as well. So I think we need to think through that and be thoughtful about that. The elderly services dovetails with one of my goals, which was just building community across multi generations. And I think we could pull Parks and Rec in there and have them work more in tandem with COA to develop programs jointly. So good goals, though.
Right.
All right. Well, I think that's a good start. And we will take it up at a meeting to be determined in early August.
So Jenny will be the central node to circulate drafts.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
Next up is a motion is there a motion to approve bills and payroll warrants W27-00 and W27-01?
So move.
Second.
Roll call. Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
and I am also a yes.
We also have W27-02 on the counter right now. So I'm wondering if I did not update the warrant from the previous agenda. If you wanted to add that in, and it doesn't matter if we duplicate
Okay.
votes.
All right, well, is there a motion to approve warrant W27-02?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call. Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes.
Thank you.
Yep. And I think we've got two sets of minutes from our June 11th meeting and also from our June 18th meeting. And Jenny, I think you said June 11th was with no changes. Oh, okay, so this is June 18th, which had some changes. So we'll do this one first. Okay, is there a motion to approve the June 18th minutes with revisions?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes. Right, and did we have the June 11th minutes too, Jenny? I think that was for our appointment of the building task force folks.
Did you send changes for those?
No, I don't think I don't think I did. No, I
So
think-
there's no reason to share those, right?
Okay. Then is there a motion to approve the June 11th minutes without changes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
I'm also a yes. And last, but very much so, not least, is our annual review of our town administrator, Marie. So just so people are aware, the select board does an annual review of the town administrator. We adopted a new policy last month, so our process was slightly different this year. We solicited input from the department heads and staff for some peer review because the select board has somewhat limited insight into kind of day-to-day interactions that the town administrator has. So that information was collected in an anonymous survey from staff members. And the select board was able to review that input as we each prepared our own individual evaluation of Marie. And I received all three individual select board members' reviews and compiled them into a single consensus overview review that has been shared with Marie. And it has also been shared with the other two members of the select board as part of their packet for this week. And we reviewed the same general categories that we did last year. There are about 9 categories. And I just want to provide a high level summary of the select board's thoughts, which are that Marie has the following areas of great strength, which includes decision-making, personal development, outstanding planning, a clear understanding of her role, excellent conduct at meetings of the select board, and high levels of ethics and professionalism. The select board was fairly unanimous in terms of its thoughts on the areas of strength and areas of improvement that also were a very general consensus of the select board members. Areas to improve would include communication, in particular with staff, working on developing leadership and supervision skills, and working as a team player. But overall, I think the select board, and certainly I personally think that Marie has done an exceptional job in a couple of very challenging years of really advancing the interests of the town, giving us some good options for financial stability. I feel that we're in a much better position because of her hard work and dedication. So Marie, thank you for all of your hard work. And I know that you take constructive criticism well, better than I do personally. And I know that you will take it to heart. So with that, I will open it up to Brian and Bill for anything that they'd like to add.
Yeah, I think you did such a great job of capturing that, Kate. And I also just want to echo, I actually have learned a lot from you, Marie, about how to think about personal growth without being defensive or feeling hyper criticized, because you really are very open to feedback, and I appreciate that. And I think that's one of the reasons we felt like we could give some candid feedback about areas for improvement. But I also just want to thank you for your exemplary strengths in several areas.
Yeah, as I mentioned in our meeting this morning, Maria, I think you've done a great job. I really appreciate your depth of knowledge. It's been very, very helpful for me, new to the inner workings of municipal finance, especially. So, I think you've done a great job, and I appreciate the hard work that you do.
Okay. Marie, did you have anything that you wanted to add or any
Sure,
comment?
I appreciate the review, and I do appreciate the feedback. My big takeaway is that I need to pay closer attention to how decisions are communicated, but likewise also how staff feedback is sought and what decisions have already been made, what our constraints are, and to be sensitive to how people experience that process.
Well, I look forward to the next year with you. I will also echo what Bill said, which is you have been instrumental in enabling me to do my job. So thank you for all of the countless hours of work that you put in behind the scenes that people may not be aware of.
Okay.
So looking forward to fiscal 27.
7.
Okay, and we have at long last reached the end of the agenda. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call, Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am also yes. So good night, everybody, and thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Have a good weekend.